I got hired as the sole IT guy for a mid-sized accounting firm in Chicago, and my first day felt like I'd walked into the Twilight Zone. The office had 40-something people, an open floor plan, and cables running everywhere. I'm talking bright orange extension cords, duct tape to the carpet, snaking from cubicle to cubicle. I asked the office manager, Barb, what was going on. She leaned in, lowered her voice, and said, "Oh, we don't use the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is cursed." I just blinked. Cursed. Turns out, 2 years ago, their old IT guy, a guy named Gary, who was convinced his microwave was listening to him, had told the partners that Wi-Fi waves were scrambling the firm's financial data. He claimed the invisible signals were leaking client tax returns into the parking lot. So, Gary's solution? He disabled the office Wi-Fi entirely. Instead, everyone was forced to use hardwired Ethernet connections. But the building didn't have enough wall ports, so Gary had run these 100-foot cables across the floor, connecting everyone through a daisy chain of cheap, dusty switches. It was a total fire hazard. People were literally tripping over their internet connection. I tried to explain to the senior partner, an old-school guy named Mr. Henderson, that we could just turn on the secure enterprise Wi-Fi. It was already built into their high-end Cisco routers, just sitting there, dormant. Mr. Henderson looked at me like I'd suggested leaving the front door wide open overnight. "Absolutely not," he said, shaking his head. "Gary said the airwaves are porous. We can't risk the Henderson legacy on porous airwaves. We need the hard lines. They're grounded." I realized right then, logic wasn't going to fix this. I needed to speak their language. So I didn't argue. I told Mr. Henderson I had a better idea. A state-of-the-art solution used by the Pentagon. I called it the encrypted phantom mesh protocol. I spent an hour making a terribly complex spreadsheet with lots of red and green conditional formatting. I showed it to Mr. Henderson and explained that the phantom mesh didn't use regular Wi-Fi waves. Instead, it used localized heavy data microbursts that were immune to parking lot leakage. It was total, absolute nonsense. Then I went into the router settings, turned the Wi-Fi back on, and hid the network name. I set it up so the computers would connect silently in the background. The next morning, I walked in early and pulled up every single orange cable from the floor, threw them all in a dumpster out back. When people arrived, they panicked. Barb was hyperventilating, holding her laptop like a shield. Mr. Henderson marched out of his office. "What is the meaning of this? Where are the grounded hard lines?" I pulled up my spreadsheet, pointed to a blinking green cell, and said, "Sir, the phantom mesh is online. Your data is now floating in a localized, impenetrable microburst field." He looked at his laptop. The internet was blazingly fast, no cables. He slowly nodded, looking deeply impressed. "Incredible. I can almost feel the heavy data bursts. It's been 8 months. The office is cable-free. The internet is flawless. And last week for my birthday, Mr. Henderson bought me a custom coffee mug. It says, Master of the Phantom Mesh. I drink out of it every single morning."